This week's episode of the Agribusiness Global Update is brought to you by the Agribusiness Global Sourcing Network. Suppliers, distributors, and products at your fingertips at agribusinessglobal.com/sourcing. Hi, I'm Dave Ferbata here with Dan Jacobs. Welcome to the Agribusiness Global Update. Leading this week's news, Monsanto indicated last week that it has stopped pursuing mega mergers around the world instead of looking for specific pieces of technology, maybe some smaller companies and partnerships. Dan, talk a little bit more about what environment we had framing this conversation about Monsanto and where we're going from here.
Sure. Last week, Hugh Grant, CEO of Monsanto, had their conference call and mentioned a couple of things. First of all, that the second quarter was a bit weaker, both on sales and earnings. So that's something of note. But specifically, he mentioned that they were going to not pursue large mergers. Everybody knows about the failed Syngenta deal. He said specifically, we will not and we would not have done an overpriced deal. So I think now we are looking at how we get to the same destinations but using a different path. That path that he outlined, like you mentioned, is a lot smaller deals, more targeted. He specifically mentioned on the nematicide from NemaStrike and companies like Nimbus Therapeutics, much smaller companies, very targeted, and that seems to be the route they're going to be headed.
Also said that data and technology are going to be significant areas of things they will pursue when they're looking at mergers and acquisitions. So that goes in line with what he has been saying for the last year or so about them focusing on data. Monsanto is also making headlines in India, where Roundup Ready cotton seeds are being capped in terms of price and royalties by the Indian government. Regulators say that the technology fees and the prices of seeds are varying too much from province to province, from region to region, and they're putting a nationwide cap on them. So Monsanto has responded by saying that this is a significant revenue decrease for them, and they likely will be forced to evaluate their entire seed business in India. So those thresholds go into place next month, and we're waiting to see exactly how Monsanto responds to that. So a bit of good news out there in the industry. Brazil reporting they look like they're going to have a record soybean production for the 2015-16 growing year for soybeans. Of course, this isn't going to alleviate too much pressure on soft commodity prices. However, Brazil, really one of those landmark countries for agriculture production in the world. A lot of agrotechnology sales go on there, so it's good to see them having a good year, and really the only part of their economy that's in the positive in 2015. Commerce, oil, technology, all major leading sectors of Brazil's economy is down. Agriculture climbed 1.8%, so a little bit of a beacon of hope in Brazil, in Latin America, and for ag economies around the world. That's all for the Agribusiness Global Update for today. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.